Hi, everybody. Yes, Andrea, I'm trying to be careful with that back. So I've missed you all. You may have read that I have a slip disc in my back, and thanks to my family for jumping in and helping me out as I'm trying to heal from that. I just came from physical therapy, so feel a little wiped out, but here I am. I've missed you guys and have been eager to get back to demonstrating and sharing with you. So before we get into today's demonstration featuring the Perennial Lavender Suite, I want to let you know that registration is open for my Quiet Reflection Class to Go. And these are cards that are good for sympathy, thinking of you, support, things like that. I'm going to show you 2 of the 6 cards. You'll make 6 different cards in the Quiet Reflection Class to Go. And that is all posted on stampinpeace.com. So you can get all the information, the different class options, what's included, prices, etc. But I'm going to show you, how about today I'll show you 2 of the 6 cards you're going to make. This one is actually a fun fold. And you can see it's pretty monochromatic, just using vanilla and pebbled path. And then this is another one, which I think is really pretty and elegant. So if you are interested in that class, if you're like me, it seems that I'm always needing sympathy cards or cards offering support and caring. This is a great class for that. Quiet Reflection on stampinpeace.com is where you can find all of the information. Lost my train of thought. You can tell I'm rusty, right? Rusty from not doing Facebook Lives. Okay, let's just go ahead and flip the camera around now so that I can get started on today's cards with you. I think you're going to love them. I'm just going to say real quickly that if you were somebody that initially missed out on the Perennial or Painted Lavender bundle, it is back in stock as of yesterday. So, and when I was on earlier this afternoon, it was there. So if you've been waiting for this, now is your time to order that. Okay, I'm going to flip my camera around now. And while I'm doing that, please share this video, inviting others to join us. You can even tag your friends in the comments. Okay, and once again, I'm working on my new glass mat. Hopefully by the end of, or I should say sometime in the next week or so, I'm going to talk a lot about the glass mat. I didn't know I needed one until I got this one. I really bought it for myself just so that I would know what I'm promoting to others. And quite honestly, I love it so much. I probably will never go back to using anything but a glass mat on here. So let's talk for a moment about the Perennial Lavender Suite. It is one of those, what I call the mega suite, because it has 2 bundles. I love this one that has, this is all images, floral images. This is all sentiments. And then look at these cool dies that come with it. They're kind of like a postage stamp style. The suite also includes the purple fine shimmered gems. So there's Highland Heather, Gorgeous Grape, and Blackberry Bliss gems. Super sparkly. And they're not real high. They're fairly flat. So it makes it nice for mailing. And then these die cuts of butterflies, and we'll be using some of these today as well. And of course, for me, the paper is the bomb. You know how much I love my designer series papers, and this one is just gorgeous. Like, I cannot proceed any further without showing you how pretty it is. There's lots of purples, but you notice it's not all purples. We're getting pretty peacock, some crumb cake color, shaded spruce. There's white in there. And I love that gingham check. Okay, so today I'm going to start out making a pair of cards, and as long as my back is feeling okay, I will make a second pair of cards because I want to show you something just a little bit different with that one. So to start, I'm using 2 crumb cake card bases. Looks like I didn't score that real well. And I've got a piece of basic white. I want to measure this because, okay, I did score it correctly. For some reason, it just is looking off to me. And what you're going to find is that I'm starting out with all the same supplies for both cards. And I'm also starting with all the same dimensions for each of the cardstock and DSP pieces. And then when I make the second card, I'm just going to make one little change to a piece of designer series paper. Now for this, I'm using 2 sheets, 2 patterns. Okay, these are the ones I'm using for both of these cards. I think that you'll find that both of these card sketches, card layouts, are ones that you will find to be very easy, very effective, and ones that you can easily replicate. You'll want to use them over and over and over. So this DSP measures 5 1/4 by 4 inches. Okay, pretty standard, right? 5 1/4 by 4 inches. Now on this one, the first card, I've got a 3 by 3 square of the DSP, and I'm mounting it to the top of crumb cake, which measures 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. And when I put this video up on my blog in the next couple days, I will have all the measurements there for you if you miss them. Of course, you can always watch the replay right here as well. Now I'm going to stamp a sentiment, and I'm using Pretty Peacock to stamp. And I'm using Here For You Always. This is one of the stamps in the Perennial postage set, okay? Everything I'm using is from the Perennial Lavender Suite. Okay, a word of caution here. If you thought, oh boy, Mary glued that down and then she stamped, I'm not so sure if I would do that. By all means, do your stamping first. You can just lay that piece of DSP in place, stamp, and then if your stamping's good, you adhere the DSP. If you maybe mess up, the stamping sentiment is crooked, then you can always flip over the cardstock, stamp, and then do the DSP, okay? Sometimes I just get in the habit of stamping first. So let me finish out this card, and then we're going to make the second one. These cards are nice for showing off the Perennial Lavender DSP because we're using two different patterns from it. And they don't necessarily have to be front and back. You can see I chose two patterns, two sheets that are completely different, okay? Two different sheets. But if you see a sheet where you like both sides, you can certainly do that. I've got a 1/2 inch by 4 inch strip, also from the DSP pack. And I've just punched both ends with that Banner's Pick-a-Punch. If you don't have this, oh, you are missing out. This is one of my very favorites and one of my most used, maybe the most used punch that I have. I love it. And it cuts strips of any length to widths of 1/2 an inch, 3/4 of an inch, and 1 inch. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And then I went ahead and die cut some of this foliage. And this would be from the Painted Lavender bundle. Several of these coordinate with the images in the Painted Lavender stamp set, but there are 3 that I use or call dies that enhance the others in that bundle. I'm just going to put a little bit of multi-purpose glue, just a few drops. I got that right. There we go. And I'm just going to lay this on here like that. And deciding if I want a second one. Ooh, I kind of do. Let me see. Might go behind with this one. Oh, yeah. I think I like that second one on there. So I'm going to do the same thing, just a couple of little drops of the multi-purpose glue. And this one I'm actually going to slide behind, whoops, moved it, slide behind the other one and the end of that banner. Just gives it more dimension. And press down. And then I'm going to do a very simple bow with my linen thread. Just because linen thread is always fun to work with. Always adds that little extra element to our cards. And it's really economical to use. Doesn't cost very much and it goes a long, long way. I'm going to keep my ends on this rather long. And I'll just use a drop of liquid glue. I'm going to set the knot of the bow right on top of that. When I'm using baker's twine or linen thread, I prefer to adhere it this way. I just drop a clear stamping block on top that will hold that in place until that glue starts to dry. Now I told you that I was going to make one change with one of the pieces of cardstock or DSP to make my second card. This is the piece. I've got another, again, we're using all the same dimensions on all of the cardstock and the designer series paper to make these 2 cards. I'm going to cut this 3x3 square into 3 1-inch pieces. And I want my strips going across. I want them horizontal. So to cut them, I need to turn that paper 90 degrees. Okay, so now instead of 1 3x3 square, I have 3 1-inch strips. And this is how I'm going to adhere them. I'm going to take the top one, and I like to keep them in the order that I cut them in. I'm going to adhere the top one, then the bottom one, and then the middle one, I'm actually going to adhere near that top. Okay? And before I adhere them, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sentiments. Here for you always. I'm going to stamp it in Pretty Peacock again. Let's see if I can do this straight. Get it right in front of me. Remember, when you're stamping, it's best if you can look straight over the top of your stamp, not look at an angle, okay? And I'm very happy with my stamping, so now I can go ahead and add my strips. And again, I like to do the top one, and I'm just looking at these 2 corners. Whoops. Okay, let me pull that off. When I'm adhering this, I'm looking at the 2 corners. If I've got the 2 corners lined up and spaced well, then I have the same amount of crumb cake cardstock around the left, right, and top of that strip. Then I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom. I'm looking at the bottom 2 corners, trying to make those even. And now I have equal borders around. And then the last one, I just put right up here. And I'm giving that some equal spacing as well around the top and the left and right. And there you have it. So let's add this to our card front, and then we'll embellish this card, and then start our next 2 cards. So what do you think of the layout so far? Pretty simple, pretty easy, right? I like that I can showcase 2 different patterns of the Perennial Lavender Suite of the DSP. I think I'm going to do this just like this. Yeah. Again, these were die cut from that same bundle. If you missed the very beginning of this Facebook Live, I told you that if you've been waiting to order the Perennial Lavender Suite, first of all, you can say that you have very good taste, because lots of other people also love that Perennial Lavender Suite. And that's why the first bit of inventory was depleted rather quickly. But if you've been waiting on it, it is back in stock, okay? And I'm going to encourage you to order sooner rather than later, because again, with these very popular products, we never know for sure how long inventory will be available, or if it does run out, how much we're getting and when it will come back, that sort of thing. I have to say though, with this catalog, I'm happy that we have not been running out of products. I know everybody gets excited. I'm looking for my snips. Here they are. Everybody gets real excited for new things, and sometimes items are even more popular than predicted. So if you were waiting, thanks for your patience, but go ahead and place your order. I like this sentiment too, here for you always. A lot of times we have reasons that we want to send a card, and basically it's a thinking of you, but we want something different, right? Want something different than thinking of you. You know, here for you always. Somebody's sick, somebody had a death in the family, somebody has a loss of job, divorce, all kinds of things where people just want to know that they're thought of and could use some support. So that's why I like this sentiment so much. And as you can see, it's filled with fabulous sentiments. Okay. I was even thinking this one, I know you will get through this. I think this would be a good inside sentiment for each of these cards. Here for you always. I know you will get through this. So you can do some mixing and matching in here as well. Okay, I'm going to set these two cards aside. I will be giving them away, so you definitely want to hang on until the end. And now we're going to do two similar cards, but we're featuring some different DSP this time. So this time my card bases are Gorgeous Grape, A2 size, so 5.5 by 8.5, and scored at 4 1/4. I have basic white for the inside of each. These measure 5 1/4 by 4 inches. That's our typical size for inside. You always want to make sure that the inside of your card base uses a white or vanilla or light colored cardstock that is easy to write on and read. If it's too dark, like I would not write on this. I think that's too dark and can be difficult for some people to read that. Oh, Courtney, purple's your favorite. I think my friend Joyce Lutterby is on here too, and she's my purple lovin' friend, one of my purple lovin' friends. In fact, when I first saw this catalog and I got to the page of the Perennial Lavender Suite, I only thought of one thing, and that was Joyce Lutterby. She loves purple that much. Joyce is actually on my team as well. And by the way, if you like the glass mat, or if you just want a great deal on Stampin' Up! Products, now is a great time to join. And my team welcomes everybody, including hobbyists, discount shoppers, happy shoppers, whatever you want to call them. The majority of people who join Stampin' Up! Join because they love it and they are tired of paying retail. They want to get a discount. Okay, now I'm going to cut this 3x3 square into 1-inch strips. So you can see I'm reusing the same layout as I did with the first two cards. And one thing I want to point out is, notice on the first two cards, the very printed DSP was used for the square, and then the more subtle DSP pattern was used as part of the background. And here I switched it up using the very printed side for the background, and then more of a solid for the square. And let's stamp on here. So this time I'm using another sentiment from the Painted Lavender Perennial Postage bundle. I'm going to put this off towards the right side a little bit, and you'll see why when I embellish the card. Now this one, again, I'm going to be using those 3 1-inch strips, so I'm just going to place them here approximately where I'm going to adhere them, and then that gives me the area that I want to stamp in. Kind of takes the guesswork out of where should I stamp that. And it's done in a way that you don't even have to measure, do you? Well, gee, Mary had that about 1 1/4 inch above the bottom. No, you don't even have to do that. Just play, oops, just play with your spacing. On the strips, if you would like to use multi-purpose glue so that you have a bit of time to slide those around to get your spacing just right, that certainly is an option for you if the liquid glue is your preference. Okay, so now I'm going to put both of these on my card fronts, and then we're going to finish these off. And we're going to do it in a different way than our first pair of cards. Whoops. I think for this layer of cardstock, I could have used crumb cake, or I could have used Highland Heather or fresh freesia, something lighter. But I like how that gorgeous grape color really pops on the white. You would just want to make sure that whatever you're choosing is light enough that you can stamp on it. All right, so there's our second set of cards. Now we're going to use some of those embellishments that come with this suite. I need my scrap paper. No idea where it went, so I'll just make another one. And this time I'm going to use Pretty Peacock ink, okay? And I'm going to use a couple of these butterfly embellishments. These come in a package of 40, okay? There's 5 in a sheet, and I am going to give you a tip. Do not try to pull out one sheet at a time because they're very delicate and they can get caught on each other. Unwrap the whole package and then lift off the top layer, okay? And let's see, I'll decide which butterflies I want here. I think I'm going to go with these two. Yep, I'm going to go with these two. So I want to add some color. I don't want to use the Gorgeous Grape or Lavender. I want to use a color that stands out beyond the purples. So I'm using Pretty Peacock, but you feel free to make these any color you like. You can also color these with sponge daubers. I'd like it to be just a little darker in the middle, maybe. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Actually, maybe I will make it just a tad bit darker, especially in the center. There. And then I'm going to add Pretty Peacock ink to this other butterfly. Did anybody get the butterfly accents, the paper butterfly accents? There's 40 in a package, so the package goes a long way. On most of the cards you make, you're going to use one. Or maybe you'll use a couple if you're using some of the smaller ones. But think about it. You could make 30 cards with putting one butterfly on each. These would make nice accents for anybody that does collages or even scrapbook pages, things like that. A little gift tag. Oh, that would be cute in the spring. Ooh, I love it. I love the Pretty Peacock against the Gorgeous Grape. Now, to adhere these, you can either use multi-purpose glue and dot some of the liquid glue in a few places. You do not need a lot of glue. I would do a few dots. Instead of that, I want these to lift off the page just a teeny tiny bit. So I'm just taking some mini glue dots and just kind of rolling them with the piercing end of my Take Your Pick tool. Another way I like to use this tool. I pretty much use this tool as much, if not more, than my paper snips. It has definitely, excuse me, it has definitely become a staple, a must-have for me. I'll put this right there. So you can see it just lifts it up very slightly, not as much as a dimensional would, but yet it's not adhered flat. And I just pick a couple of key spaces that are large enough to accommodate that rolled up glue dot. And then finally, let's finish off with a few of the fine shimmer gems. And I had given away some samples of these. So that's why I have all these little strips and different things. Don't know that I want the Blackberry Bliss ones. I do like the Highland Heather ones, and of course we have Gorgeous Grape. I'm going to go with the Highland Heather. And let's see. This one, I'm going to use these two different ways, okay? And I do that because I want you to have some different ideas, different ways that you can use your embellishments. And then this one, wondering if I want these other. I'm going to just use up these last two and put them maybe right here. Okay, so what do you think? How many of you can you see yourselves using, first of all, I'll say the layout, okay? 5 1/4 by 4 inch DSP, 3 by 3 square of DSP, and of course you can cut it into 1 inch strips, and then this layer would be 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. So really simple measurements, simple layout. You can see too that you could easily make this a horizontal card. You just want to pay attention to the direction of your designer series paper so that you have, if I have a vertical card and I'm using directional paper, I want that DSP to be vertical. Same thing if I change it and make it horizontal. So here are the first two cards as well. Does anybody have a preference? Do you like set number 1 or set number 2, or do you like them equally? Deborah Woodby, you're a new follower. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so happy to have you, and I hope you like what you see here and that you'll be back for more. And if any of you have never visited my blog, which has all of my past videos and plus more information, including cutting dimensions and Stampin' Up! Products used, that sort of thing, please check that out, stampinpiece.com. There's a plethora of creative ideas for you. Okay, some are leaning towards set number 1. Some say both. Kathy, I'm like you. It's hard to choose. I like them both. A nice, simple layout. Okay. Jean likes the second because there's more lavender showing. More of the purples. Okay. All right. If you are interested in receiving one of these cards, please type in the comments now. Let's say lavender. That will be our code word today. If you would like to have your name entered into the drawing to receive one of these cards, just type in the comments now, lavender. And I will draw 4 lucky winners. And I do want to give you a heads up that I will once again be using the Perennial Lavender Suite for my Thursday Facebook Live. Thursday's Facebook Live will take place at 2 p.m. Okay? 2 p.m. Eastern Time here on Stampin' Piece with Mary Knabe. Do not forget to check out stampinpiece.com for lots more information. A few weeks back, I did a demonstration making 6 painted lavender suite cards and also a card folder to enclose them in. All right, so you'll want to make sure to see that as well. Keep in mind, celebration is going on full steam ahead. I've had lots of orders. People are excited to get free celebration exclusive products. Okay. And don't forget that the best offer is still the joining offer, purchasing the starter kit. You're going to pay $99 plus tax, choose $125 of product, and then you're getting a celebration bonus on top of that. You can choose from the glass mat, which also comes with the silicone mat, cleaning cloth, or this is the silicone mat, and the cleaning cloth. I love them all. In fact, I'll never be going back. I will use this forever. Or you can choose an additional $30 of product. So either $125 of product and the Glass Mat Studio, paid $99 plus tax. It all ships free, so even more savings. Or pay $99, choose $125 of product plus $30 for a total of $155 a product, and you still just pay $99 plus tax. It all ships free. All right? Best deal out there. So if you have a long wish list, or this is something you've thought about in the past, even if you don't want to sell, that is okay. You are allowed to purchase a starter kit because it's a great deal. And then if you choose to stay on just to enjoy some shopping of your own at a discount, that is perfectly okay. And for anybody that joins my team in particular, you have the option to be a part of our private team Facebook group. And anybody on my team has access to my PDF tutorials of my classes to go. I think Ruth Zinser is on watching now. She posted in our team Facebook group that she just used one of the most recent PDF tutorials that I posted for my team. They're the only people who get them free, using the, Be My Valentine suite. So that's always fun. I like to know that people are using them and taking advantage of those free tutorials when they join my team. All right. I am hoping and praying that my back continues getting better. It has been slow. I'm running out of patience, but I started physical therapy, see the doctor again on Thursday. So thank you all for your prayers, your good wishes, positive vibes, text, emails, cards. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. All right. I will see you Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And again, I'll be featuring some fun cards from the Perennial Lavender Suite once again. There will be more stamping in this one on Thursday, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.